I want to briefly discuss how you can turn something like this into something like this. So as many of you have seen, I've been working on these little figures for quite some time, and I mean these three here, little customized and modified stormtroopers. So these are little figures that started off just cheap ones you can get from the dollar store, and then I completely repainted them. So the first ones I actually ever did were these guys right here. So all of it was from the dollar store. So the figures, these little soldiers are from the dollar store, and then they were little mini figurines that came from the dollar store as well. You could see it's my first attempt, and this was all acrylic paint done just hand brushing, and then I just completely butchered. It's the first time I ever used a hot glue gun, and it was just oh look, this guy's head fell off. That's sad. But yeah, I wanted to make it kind of like a modified stormtrooper, and I think I'll always keep these because they were the first ones I did, and I don't know, I like them. So this body is actually the one that Naruto has back there, and this body is the one that Kakashi has. So but yeah, let me kind of walk you through what I did. Unfortunately, I somehow deleted the footage I've had of all these, which is very frustrating, but you've kind of seen the process. Let's start with Stitch, because this one was a little nicer. A lot of these figures come with different accessories, and you can buy different accessories separately. But the first thing I did was, and it's recommended anytime you do any customization, you hand wash it with some detergent. That'll kind of remove any of the protective enamel it has on it, and the paint could better adhere to it. You could even sand a little. I didn't do a whole lot of detailing, but if I were to go back, yes, you could sand. So for example, I don't know if you can see here, just anytime there's where they kind of connected the plastic, and the camera's not, you can kind of sand that down a little bit to, again, get a little bit better of a paint job. Again, I didn't do the sanding, but I might have used, a little X-Acto knife a little bit to cut little pieces of, excess plastic or what have you. The reason these look a little nicer, again, I obviously took my time with it a lot more, and I used a little nicer paint. So just did some quick brushing, as you guys saw, just hung it up on a hang dryer. And then this is nice. It's always important if you're doing something with plastic, you want something that adheres to plastic. Otherwise, depending on what type of paint it is, it can melt the plastic. So I just did a few coats of that, let it dry sufficiently, and then what I did was I hand brushed all the black. It's just with acrylic paint. I had to do a few coats of that to really make sure it stuck. And because that part is acrylic and it's water soluble, once I was finished with that, what I did was I used this clear matte cover, so it protected that black wash. So again, saw some details, and you can, it's infinite how much detail you could put into these things. Once I did that to kind of get the general, again, this is not as good of a paint job because this was all hand washed. This is also covered, I think, in a clear to somewhat protect it because it's all acrylic. But once I did that, then I started putting in the wash, and again, I tried a few different techniques. Honestly, the wash I created is not the best, so I had to go old school and just brush some black on there, and then so it could kind of get in through the crevices and everything, because I wanted it to look a little bit more worn. I specifically wanted to get a little bit more detail on the boots and things like that, so it looks a little bit more weathered. And then after I did all that, I did another clear coat, so again, to protect it. And you can see I did a little detailing on Stitch there. I don't know, some kind of little work. You have the freedom to do it however you want, customize it however you want. I did a little less weathering. I wanted Stitch, because he has this little jetpack, kind of Falcon-like, make him look a little bit more dirty. I don't know, flying through different things and what have you, just use your imagination. Naruto, I didn't do as much weathering. I don't know, maybe you can argue he doesn't work as hard. So yeah, you can kind of see that. And then kind Kakashi, the one I'm gifting it to, specifically said he likes matte black, and we have that in common. I love matte black. And this one was really cool. So this one was a little bit more of a protective enamel, because again, it wasn't as many coats. So I used this for it. Let's move Stitch here for a little while. And what I ended up doing with this was I just spray painted it, but what I did then was I did a little bit of detailing with a finer brush. So again, like, these are for being pretty cheap. I don't know if you could see, just a little bit of detailing that I would put, like just fine brushing some silver to make it look a little bit metallic and you know, like a little bit more weathered. So, you know, like he's been shot at, running through explosions and things like that. So being completely transparent, I did a way better job at, so what I do is I keep the original head and neck and then try to modify it to put these new heads on. It is a lot easier said than done. I did a pretty good job with this one. Complete movement, just lateral, there's no up and down. I actually modified it a little bit to like nod, but I was pretty proud of this one. However, it's a little embarrassing, and these are obviously like different, they come from different figures. These guys look like they ain't got no neck, but it is what it is. I still think they turned out pretty good. And similar process with all the different accessories. They come black, and I spray painted them with a nicer silver, and then just did the similar process of weathering. Pretty simple. And then what I'm gonna do, originally I was gonna, you saw I had painted some hockey pucks and I was gonna put them on there, so I'll gift it like that, and that they can display on. Otherwise they're pretty nice how they are. Unfortunately, I don't have one of those little spinny things, you know, like the little things that like the figures spin around, so. But let me know what you think of these little glamour shots.